Salutations. What's going on, guys? Lucy here, and you are tuned in to the Lucid Prophet. Today we're gonna go over a few things. One, you know why you're here, making some skates. Okay, you're gonna be making some skates today. Went through hell to do this, but that's because I didn't know what I was doing. So hopefully I can help you guys kind of figure out what to do, what not to do, some solutions to some problems I ran across myself. All right, so without further ado, let's do it. Some of the first things you're gonna need is a drill. Okay, this is gonna handle pretty much the drilling. The other thing you need is a drill bit, as well as countersinks. You're also gonna need an all-in-one skate tool, and I also use a socket wrench. The shoe you want to use, but in the skating world they call it the boot. You're gonna need the plate with hardware, as well as the toe stop, which is something extra I bought because the plate that I initially bought came with its own toe stops, but I bought my own toe stops for better stopping power. Bearings, and you're gonna need 16 bearings. 16 bearings because it's 2 for each wheel. Now onto the wheels, you're gonna need 8 wheels. So sometimes they come in a set of 4, or sometimes you could get them in a set of 8. You're gonna need the aluminum insoles. Those go inside the shoe, and that's what we're gonna be drilling through, okay? I got mine from Roll Around. So the first thing you're gonna need to do is remove the insoles from inside the boot or the shoe. That's not, when I received my insoles, they weren't the right aluminum, they weren't the right cut for my shoe. But when I contacted Roll Around, they were really good about returning it and sending the correct insole out. I decided to just keep them and grind them down. So I ended up using a belt sander. Do is, if you want to make your own insoles, which you can get some aluminum sheets and take the insoles from your shoe and trace them. You're gonna want to make it a little bit smaller than your insole, just a little bit, so that it can fit in nicely. And then cut them out. The next thing you want to do is actually line up the plate to the bottom of the shoe. When I was trying to figure it out before I even received all the pieces, I was trying to figure out how I was gonna line them up. But once you receive the plates and you're looking at everything, it's kind of self-explanatory. I try to put my plates as far back as possible to the heel. Once you line that up, you're gonna get a pen, something that can fit through the hole, and mark the bottom of the shoe. Then you're gonna put the aluminum insole inside of the shoe so that when you drill through the shoe, it also marks the insole. So you're making a hole in your shoe, and you can hold it with your hand, or if you have clamps or whatever you want to use, you can hold it with any of those things so that you shouldn't be drilling through the plate. So you drill through the shoe, go through it a few times, then you should also, once you take the plate out of the shoe, drill through with a bigger drill bit so that the holes are a little easier to go through when you're pushing the screw through it later down the line. Insole, the aluminum insole, you're gonna take that out and you're gonna match it to the plate just to make sure that everything is lined up, because you don't want to drill holes more than once through the insole. Once you see everything is lined up properly, you then proceed to drill through the insole. Then once you drill through the insole, you're going to flip it over, or make sure it's on the right side for the shoe that you're doing. So initially the holes are gonna be, the indents are gonna be on the bottom. You're gonna drill through, and then you're probably gonna have to flip it over if you haven't already. And then countersink the top part, which is where the screw heads are gonna sit. You don't want the screw heads to sit on top of that plate without it being countersinked in. So you can, if you don't have a countersink, you can drill kind of in an awkward round way so that it makes a concaveness to the hole. It's just easier, more precise with a countersink. So that once you do that, the screws are going to be flush. You don't want to skate around and feel like you have 4 rocks inside of your shoe all the time. That's extremely uncomfortable. Once you do that, you put the metal insoles back into the shoe, line up the plate, and then proceed to put the screws in. Now, the issue I ran into with the screws is that they're all 8 of them were essentially too long. So once you put them in and screw the nut on tightly, keep in mind, it's gonna squish everything in a bit. There's gonna be a lot of screw left, whether you use the long ones or the short ones. For me, there was a lot of screw left, and I ended up having to get a Dremel so that I can actually cut off the access bolt or the access screw. You can also get your own screws and your own nuts. The plate you got did not come with the proper hardware. Then it should be time to assemble the plate. So you're gonna take that little metal dish looking piece, and then you're gonna put the cushion for turning, and then the truck, and then the other cushiony thing with the bushing. I guess you call it a bushing. And then you screw the top into the kingpin. That long screw is called the kingpin. So different skates have different kingpin angles. I chose I think it's 15 or 10 or 15 degree for better stability. Because what I want to do is kind of something more versatile for rink skating. If I decide to go park skating or decide to do any of those things, I don't have to buy a whole bunch of different plates. This is my first pair of skates. I'm trying to keep it simple. Once you assemble the whole plate, then you want to put the bearings into the wheels. So you can use the truck to put the first bearing in and pop it in, but then there's not enough space for the other side, at least for me. So I just use the skate tool to press in the other bearing to each wheel. Once you do all the wheels, then you're gonna put the wheel onto the truck, screw it on and tighten it. Tighten to the point where the wheel doesn't spin, and then loosen it a little bit, little by little, until the wheel is spinning freely. Once you do all of that and you got all your trucks on, and then you did, of course, both skates, go ahead and put your insoles in, your normal insoles or insoles that you purchased. Tie your shoes up, and you should be ready to go. It's been a long time since I've been on skates. This is my first time with my own pair of skates. They were awesome. I've never been on skates this smooth before ever in my life. I'm super stoked. I'm gonna be in the rink and skating all the time now. So that's probably all I'm gonna be doing. That's probably gonna be it. Oh yeah, and don't forget to subscribe. Press that like button. Share with a friend. And have fun. Be blessed.